Hey guys, Sinborn here. Figured I'd do a video before I went to bed. Going to be looking at just about 8 hours until Delirium starts. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think I'm gonna go with Animate Weapon as my league starter. I feel like it should be really freaking strong. So it should be good. I've whipped up a kind of skill tree here, and I left about 20 points out because still gonna need a depending on I don't know how good these clusters are. I imagine we're gonna want to branch out. So I left the option to branch out here. This is basically my Summon Raging Spirits tree, and I just dropped a couple things. I don't know how much survivability is gonna matter for Animate Weapon, because if we can just always recreate them, they're kind of like SRS to the point where damage mitigation isn't that important. I guess it depends on like how rippy the content is and how brittle they are. Because if they just like blow up, then from like a bunch of Beyond monsters or the Delirium monsters, if there's like a bunch of AoE and they just evaporate, then you might need stuff like Indomitable Army or Sacrifice. And the nodes that lead up to it. But as it stands, very minimal. It's already got a pretty good base duration, and Necromancer kind of already gives a pretty good amount of duration as well. So I tested it in game, and an Animate Weapon with this setup currently they last 81 seconds. That's without like kind of duration from like a skill or anything like the increased duration gem or whatever. I feel like that's plenty of time considering I leveled with SRS for quite a while and its base duration is 10 seconds. So with Animate Weapon being fucking 80 seconds, realistically you don't need any duration at all. Mischief Sacrifice is just already good. They did kind of gut, the sacrifice spam, being able to do this. I did gut that, but it needed it anyway. Why not? I tested like a really low level Animate Weapon with just kind of like animating the weapons on the ground, which right now feels like shit. Because when you right click right now, you have to literally be hovering over the actual tag on the actual item itself. So like if I go into here and there's like shit everywhere, like I'm right clicking right now, nothing's happening. In the patch, they'll actually be able to update. Like even here, like right here, I'm like in between, basically. Oh, and another thing is I hope they change this. I can just spam cast this, and this doesn't make sense to me. I really hope they change that. I'm guessing with the way that it'll animate something around the helmet. So hopefully like this Tyrant Secum or whatever. But if you right now you basically, even if you're like hovering like right on top of it, nothing. You literally have to hover over the tag. So that's why it always felt bad. And you would use like cast while channeling Animate Weapon, because then it targeted, anywhere within that area. It auto targeted for you. But they did have a change to where in the patch notes that they have it so that it'll just target near your cursor. It's pretty great. So it should feel good. It shouldn't need cast while channeling or anything like that. But I feel like it's going to be super strong. They either I'm banking on them underestimating how good the skill is, the way they have it scaled, because they tend to not balance things very well. I am banking on that. However, the cool thing is if this is shit, if this is bad, Summon Raging Spirits didn't get touched. And I conquered almost all content. Actually, I think I did everything with just SRS. And then later on added Skeletons, because it was just kind of free damage. Skeletons will probably still be good too, so fuck it, why not? Probably toss those in there as well. They still have a long duration, so it's not too much of a pain to summon them. However, well, you might still want like something to make them survive against bosses, but That's why I ended up getting this cluster here. But the cool thing is they have that cluster gem. I didn't look at like any of the clusters because I kind of want to have a little bit of surprise. I don't want to be spoiled too much. But I know that there's a minion cluster gem that says that your summons are immune while they were summoned recently, or something along those lines. So that alone might just make it completely a moot point. So that'll be good. But I'm thinking something like you could do Blade Fall with Curse on hit, and then it'll trigger Elemental Equilibrium. And then you can summon the blades or summon the animated weapon through those blades. It kind of, does like a multi-tier, like you're not just summoning the things for blades, you're doing it Curse on hit, Elemental Equilibrium, and whatever else I can think of to throw on there to make them better. I'm not 100% sure if I should scale them via elemental damage or just pure physical. Doing something like Flesh of Stone or something like that. Flesh and Stone, and maybe scaling pure fizz, because they have quite a bit of flat fizz on them. Like 126 to 184 is decent, and then I'm not 100% sure what's the difference between Lingering Blades versus the actions themselves, because they both have added physical, so I don't 100% know. But apparently, Animate Weapon never had the more damage multiplier on it, which is kind of hilarious. I do hope they're faster, because as it sits right now, with very little investment in minion speed, they move pretty slow. However, I'm not using like the boost of movement speed sacrifice. I think it's what is it? Boop boop. Spirit Offering, is that the one? No, that's the good one for shields. What am I using right now? I am using Spirit Offerings. I'm just leveling another Spirit Offering. But either way, the sacrifice is good. You can tell I'm prepared and ready to. Yeah, I'm just ready to go to sleep. Honestly, sorry. But yeah, Animate Weapon, I think I'm gonna do. I'll leave a this is kind of a generic tree. I can leave a link to this in the description below in YouTube video. This is what this is gonna be. It is very generic. It's not really like tailored towards it yet. It's more of just a lot of HP and some minion stuff. For instance, like I think Ravenous Horde would still be good, but the reason why I took it off, because I imagine like pathing through here to be able to get this node, to be able to branch out in case the cluster system, the new cluster jewels that they're adding are just super good. Then it makes sense to be branching out into multiple cluster jewels. And then at that point, you'd have to start dropping things. But I mean, this build currently has 232% life, so it's pretty heavy on life. So if it's good enough, I mean, you could literally just drop this wheel, still have 180% life, and I'm guessing some of the cluster jewels will have life on them, percentage life or flat life, which will make up for that. So you're not like forced to run down here to this node. And same thing, if you could just drop all the HP nodes, or even minion nodes might not matter. Besides the one that gives like double damage and Ravenous Horde, for instance, for the onslaught. Stuff like that is probably still worth it, maybe. But the extra like movement speed is also pretty good, because like I said, as it is right now, they're super slow. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm hoping to make like update videos on like day 1, day 2, day 3. I do work on the weekend, so like I'm gonna basically be streaming the league start. The first like it'll be from the league start, so like what 4 p.m. my time, which is Eastern time. I'll be able to stream like 7 hours, 8 hours for the first part of the league. Probably get into maps and figure out some of the stuff. Figure out some of the delirium stuff. Oh, it does have mind over matter on accident. That was only if I had a Diadem Dawn, but I can't imagine that it's going to be or devouring diadem. I can't imagine it's going to be that easy to get it early on, so that'll be something I like transition to. And it's not as good as it used to be because of the whole not being able to just consistently top off your mana. I imagine that's not really going to be a thing. So I'm not going to bother with that, which means that the routing can be changed to something more like that. Save a point. Probably will need the dexterity though. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to check. What's the dexterity on a level 20 animate weapon? Because it is green. Okay, it's only 98. That's not bad. Stuff like blade fall, they're like 150. Yeah, 155. So most likely I won't bother leveling up blade fall too high. It's really going to be there for utility, not for the damage. It'll probably still do pretty decent damage because all the minion damage is going to be scaled for the character from spiritual aid. So it'll be interesting because it probably still will do decent damage. It might even clear some packs and shit, but obviously the minions are going to be there for clearing the actual important stuff. Another thing that I might change, instead of Bone Barrier, I might get Commander of Darkness early on just to help with gearing up for resistances. And it's not bad. So instead of... And they did nerf this a little bit. It's not really that big a deal, but basically you don't get any resistances on this node anymore. And then the life recovery rate and energy shield rate was changed, which I didn't really think that needed nerfed, but they did, so they did it. Yeah, but the 3 to all elemental resistances per minion, up to 30%, that's been gutted. It's gone from this skill. Doesn't make it bad. Bone armor's still good. It still gives you, a shield on command for 2,209 health, so it's definitely not bad at all. But Commander Darkness might just be easier early on, just for gearing for the league start. So drop that, grab that, something like that. Would make sense to me. Boop. Something like that. Everything else got untouched, which is pretty nice. Summon Raging Spirits didn't get touched, so, I mean, realistically, you could just follow the same... I can make the build guide that I wanted to make, basically, for this character, because it worked out super well last time. I imagine it'll be the same here, where SRS just... It carried. It was pretty strong for League Starter. I did solo self-found, no problem. So that was pretty good. I was going to make a League Starter build for that, but I ended up not doing it because I wasn't sure what they were going to do with it. And then, I'll be honest, I literally forgot that I was going to do that. I should have done that when I read the patch notes and saw they weren't touching it at all, my SRS. I guess the only thing they would have changed would have been Mind Over Matter and Wicked Ward. With the Devouring Diadem, because that combo is kind of wonky without the free mana from being able to sit here and spin and get free mana, basically. That was like the sustain for the mana. Without that, it got a little... If you took a big hit, you just have no mana to be able to cast anything. That was pretty shit. So that... And any kind of dot would destroy your mana pool as well. So without being able to get like constant mana like that, I don't think it'd be worth it. It might even just be better to just run a complete yeah, I mean, you could probably run a complete Mind Over Matter setup instead. I mean, Skitterbots are going to be pretty good. They're still good. They didn't get touched at all, which I thought was a little strange. But, fuck it. Why not? So Skitterbots it is. Most likely. We'll see. I still have to kind of tweak everything out, but I figure I can release this. Give like an idea of what I'm going to start with, give you guys kind of like a little intro of what I'm going to be working with tomorrow, and I'm hoping to see what you guys do in the comments below. Comment what your league start is, if you started with this. I mean, Animate Weapon I think starts off at like level 4, but you'll still need like Blade... Oh, I didn't think about it. You still need like Blade Fall. Yeah, you'll be able to get it at 4, but you need like a skill. Blade Fall. What level is that? 28. Oh, Ethereal Knives. Ethereal Knives is level 1, so that's perfect. So this will leave knives on the ground for you to be able to summon. So you can literally... is it only just one knives, or is it multiple knives? That's the thing, it doesn't actually say how many knives it leaves on the ground, but in the video it looked like it was definitely multiple knives. Lingering blades have a duration of 6 seconds, which I imagine will get increased via maybe minion duration or maybe just general duration. But that'd be interesting. But either way, 1 in 3 projectile. Oh, 1 in 3, so it kind of randomly rolls. Reading is important. Is blade fall the same? Each wave leaves behind a lingering blade, and it shoots what, 5 waves? The blade fall has 5 waves, and if you supported it with spell cascade, that would be what? That is 15 waves. So you literally one cast a blade fall, and you can summon your entire animate weapons, which I think is pretty cool. So I'll most likely be using blade fall for my actually not most likely, well, yeah, most likely. I can't guarantee it, but this seems like the most logical choice. And then the interesting thing that I was thinking about that they didn't mention at all, with animate weapons, there was this thing called Spirit Guards. It's a unique jewel that allows you to animate up to 8 ranged weapons. I believe the lingering blades are this, yeah, a glass shank, so it is a melee weapon. Obviously, it is a blade. But they didn't say anything in the patch notes about this being changed at all. If this doesn't get changed at all, I mean, the fact that like our limitation now is it's going to be 15 blades at level 20, and I don't know how much it scales past that, but 15 blades at level 20, you're almost getting like half added on to that with this. Well, it is a little bit more than half added on to that, being able to animate ranged weapons. I thought that was interesting. Maybe create like a special filter. Oh, you really don't need to. You can just target the ground, then it'll just animate shit. But you could maybe create a special filter which only showed ranged white items to be able to animate specifically ranged weapons. There should be plenty dropping. I don't know if you've ever looked at the ground, but like this was just a, like, I mean, this is a Coudl run, but like there's plenty of white items that drop on the ground, probably too many. And I turned the loot filter off to be able to see the shit, to be able to animate it, to test it. But yeah, Spirit Guards could be a hidden sleeper. I don't know how well they scale, but back in the day when I was doing cast wall channeling, when like the poison build was really, really good, you do cast wall channeling, and I added this into the build, and I didn't really see many people using it. It added quite a bit of damage. I don't know if I pat the building did, but I mean, 8 additional weapons, I was just like, yeah, this is great. And back then it used to be 4. Oh no, that was 2.6, so yeah, still 8. Oh wait, hold on, limit of 2? I didn't even notice that. I just noticed down here in the version history. So you literally can double your weapons with this thing. I think that might have been, I'm hoping they looked into it, but maybe not. Because that's pretty insane. Because you might be able to get up to 36 blades with this. Or 32. Math is, no, it'd be, well, 31. If it's 15 and 16 in this case. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. I'm going to keep an eye out for Spirit Guards for sure. Oh, and then the last thing that I had before I let you go, and before I go to sleep, I found out about this new thing that people have been using. It's like a plugin, basically, for, I don't want to say plugin, it's like a redirect of the download for Path of Building. It adds like color coding of things. It adds, it seems to be more updated, quicker than Path of Building, like the original Path of Building. And it also seems to allow calculations for things like impale and stuff like that. The stuff that the like normal Path of Building just doesn't know how to calculate. It appears that they have the ability to calculate it here in this updated Path of Building, and it's super easy in order to change it. Basically, you go to your program data. It's specifically program data, not the program files. This is like your hidden folder, the program data in the C drive, and then wherever you have it installed, mine's just, it should be program data / Path of Building. That's the generic folder that when you install it, it creates, and then you're going to open your manifest file. You go on a right click and edit, and it's going to open up a notepad, and then you're looking for some reason, it's multiple different things. There's multiple different like versions of like what you'll see. So there's like a layout 1 and a layout 2. I'm layout 2, and I guess some people might be layout 1. But basically, what you're looking for is part equals program for my case. And then he says it's in near the 9th line, but mine's near the 2nd line or 3rd line. I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, mine's the 5th line. So I don't know. I don't know. But basically, what you're doing is you're just changing in these parentheses. You're just changing this link for the program itself, and you're changing it with this one here. And I'll leave a link to the path of building thing. It's called fork. Installing this fork. I don't know what fork necessarily means. Maybe it's just like a fork of POB. Somebody decided to make. It seems upgraded in every way, so it doesn't seem like it'd be a downgrade. And it's super easy to turn back. If you want, I would suggest making a copy of this manifest, just simply by copy and then paste. And then it'll have the copy thing next to it, basically making a backup. And then you do that prior to, and then what you can do is if one or the other gets updated first, it's as simple as just renaming this, deleting it, and then hitting enter. And then obviously you have to make sure that you turn the original manifest. So you would do something like rename this to -copy, rename this to remove the -copy. So then you can kind of flip-flop back and forth. All you'd have to do is close the program, reopen it, and then you'd be able to go back to the original path of building. Or if that doesn't work for you, which it should, but if that doesn't work for you, you just delete this folder and reopen path of building, and it should recreate everything in this folder. And you will lose all your classes and tree updates or all your like builds if you have any builds saved here. So I would recommend trying doing the first 2 ways first, or I guess you could like maybe like save these and maybe just ignore update, but the update folder's clear. I don't know. Either way, it seems like a nice tool, and it seems to have more options. And from what I noticed, it adds things like where I did at one point I saw that there was like a plugin or something that allowed you to see what oils it was to anoint. I don't see that here. Apparently it allows you to disable that, which is kind of cool, I guess. There might be... There's things in there. I don't know. Play around with it. See if you like it. I literally just switched to it today. But I've seen a couple other streamers using it. It seems a little bit more, I don't know, appealing to the eye with the color changings, and the fact that if it calculates correctly, that's nice as well. And if it gets updated, really, if it gets updated first over the normal path of building, then I'll definitely use it. From what I understand, they say it's more updated than the original path of building. So if that's the case, that's cool. I remember last league, it took them like a couple days to get the gems, the skill gems in here to be able to use. I remember I was trying to use something and calculate my damage, but for instance, like right here, it's still the old Animate weapon, and this is with the update as well. So they might not update as quick as the other one. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, that should be good. See y'all tomorrow. I rambled. This is longer than I anticipated. I apologize, but if you're not a follower, please follow. We greatly appreciate it. Or on the YouTubes, they call it subscribe. And then you click the little bell to then be annoyed by all the the videos that I post once like a week or two. Yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna ramble no more. Have a good day.